Okay, folks, it's race day on Lake Kennisis. It's day 2 of the regatta, and day 2 is the sailing regatta day. So we've got the new secret weapon in the background here, the new Hobie T2, new to us anyway, and we're going to be sailing that in today's regatta race. So let's see who shows up, and let's see how we do. The wind's starting to pick up now. We're hoping for maybe 10 to 15 knots. Gusts maybe even higher, but we'll see. Anyway, that was the forecast, so let's head on out. Okay, we're on the water now. A few guys coming out to the start line. Another Hobie 16, and looks like that might be John Sensical over there and his CL, and starting line's way over there, but there's no one there yet. So we'll check out the wind in the bay first, and then let's head on down to the start line. Okay, the race is on. We just left the starting line over there, and the field's all over the place because we all have to go upwind, either tacking left to port or right to starboard. Anyway, we're headed that way. That's where the next marker is. So I'm bearing down on, that's John Cook's boat, the blue sail with the white top. He is the nemesis, so I will catch him. Here we go. Okay, folks, we're back at the starting line, and just want to hand it over to Alina, who's actually in the committee boat with Ben and Isabel, who are helping out at the start.
Thank you. Thank you. And it's really exciting. 2025, another regatta year. And it's really exciting to see all the boats that showed up. This year, we actually changed a few things insofar as we actually gave visual cues. Because a lot of people complained they couldn't hear the sounds. So this year we marked the 5-minute start with the white t-shirt, the 1 minute with the red t-shirt, and the go with green. So hopefully this will make things a little bit easier in the future.
Okay, and just to go over for the folks that are not familiar with the actual course, it's actually approximately only, if I recall, about 6.3 kilometers long by way of the crow flying. But because this triangle is never a direct path, boats have to actually tack and jibe, which is turn, because they can't go right into the wind. We have to, for example, on the way from the start in Bullfrog Bay to the first marker, we have to tack all the way up. That means we have to zigzag against the wind, which is actually coming from that direction, all the way up to the first marker. And then from the first marker, we move all the way down to Blueberry Islands, that you can see where Mark 2 is, and then finally back to the start, which is predominantly downwind at that point. So I didn't quite see because I was actually in the mess, but I guess it was pretty tight at the starting line. I guess we have a few photos which show all the boats that were sort of bunched up there. So what did it look like from your perspective?
Oh, it was actually quite a few boats. We actually had a lot more boats that actually started the race than the boats that actually finished. It was actually quite busy. We actually had, it was quite busy when we started the race, for sure. Yeah. Oh, what are those red markers there? Did you just install those?
Yeah, so the little red ribbons that you see on the front of the boat there are actually additional telltales. There's some on the jib sail, and there's some on the mainsail. But what I needed was additional telltales, those little ribbons that would tell me which way the wind is coming across the bow. And that helps me determine, actually the term is apparent wind, how quick I'm going versus the wind, because it does change the direction the ribbons are flying.
That's actually quite Smart.
I need every bit of help I can get. So
Where did you take them from?
actually from an LCBO shopping bag. So someone's not getting a bottle of wine in a Christmas.
Oh, those are the handles.
Yeah,
from
the handles
bag.
from the bag. So, yeah, those are no longer functioning on that particular bag. In fact, I had to destroy it.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good.
So you can see me looking around all the time. I'm actually wearing the GoPro on my head, and so I wanted to give you folks the perspective of what it's like being at the helm. You can see my hands holding onto the shroud, which is that black wire you see running from the hull on the port side or the starboard side all the way up to the mast. And the reason why I'm holding on to it is actually this is the first time I've raced this particular boat, and I found that wearing my board shorts and the material of the hull made it very slippery. So I was actually holding on to that because I kept sliding off, almost dumped into the lake going backwards. And you'll see occasionally you can catch a glimpse of my feet, which are actually under the black straps on the trampoline, which is that blue material that is at the base of the floor of the sailboat. So I use that for stability. I got one hand on the tiller. I have the main sheet, which is what you use to pull and release the mainsail. It's usually lying across my lap, so I grab that when I'm getting ready to trim the sail. So for those of you who are not that familiar with what sailing is like on the lake, when the water turns dark, and I keep looking towards, in this case, my left, towards the direction of where the wind's coming from. Here I'm doing a very quick tack. So I keep looking north because I want to see when I get the gusts, which for me is a good time to, just before the gust hits, to tack or turn the boat in a different direction, because we're all trying to get upwind now. You can see the field in the background. Some of the folks that are having trouble with the gusts or trouble with getting upwind are still very close to the start and fairly downwind. So I'm trying to, right now I believe I'm just in the middle of the pack, and I'm trying to catch up with the rest of the folks that are ahead, because again, I didn't get a very good start.
Oh, not bad. You were okay.
Yeah,
But
well,
I think you managed to make up for time.
yeah.
You finished quite well.
Yeah, this boat is
You
a
did well.
lot quicker than our old boat, which is a
2
Hobie
feet
Wave.
smaller, right?
Yeah, it's 2 feet smaller, shorter, and this boat also has a much larger sail, and it's what's called a square top sail, which gives you more power. Oh, who's that handsome guy in the boat there? Yeah, and thanks,
I think
Luke,
he
for
was
taking the
taking
shot.
pictures.
Yeah, we had an additional photographer out there taking photos, so thanks to Luke for that.
And I did ask, should I go with you sailing? And Monty said, well, I don't know. It's going to be too heavy. It's, no.
Yeah, well, you know what? I needed every advantage I could get, and one of the factors I had to consider was I wasn't sure what the optimal weight on this boat was in order to keep up with a much faster Prindle 18 and the Darts 18, which are much bigger and faster boats than this one. This one's a 16-footer, so just the 2 additional feet in length actually gives them quite an advantage in terms of hull speed. And I think they also may have larger sails. So, I almost dumped it there.
I saw that. I remember being on shore and watching you this time, and there's just a few. Oh,
Yeah, I
there
almost
you go.
did it again.
You're
I know.
almost.
Well, what happened?
capsized.
What happened was I didn't have the main sheet in my hand because it fell out of my lap, and then I realized when I looked upwind, there's a big gust coming. So when I leaned over to try to pick up the main sheet, it basically shifted the weight on the boat, and I almost went right over. So these boats, it's called hull flying, although that was an accidental one, and it almost ended up in me dumping the boat over.
It's funny because we're watching you, and first time it's like, whoa, and then it's like, oh, okay, and then the second time, oh my goodness.
I don't usually do that twice in a row, but I had to get the main sheet in my hand. It's a good thing, when that happens. What I usually do is I turn it up into the wind to try to release some of the push against the sails, and in this case, it kind of saved my butt. So here you can see that I'm catching up to the RS Quest that John has, and I'm pointing a little bit too high, so the jib sail there is luffing. So that tells me that I've got to bear away a little bit. The problem with these Hobie cats is that there's no what's called there's no center board, or there's no keel, and so I can't go upwind as well as these monohulls with keels and centerboards. So I always have to watch it. The nice thing about cats is they are typically faster than the monohulls, but the disadvantage is that they don't go upwind as well, and that's what happens when you see the jib sail on my boat luff like that. So, but I am catching up to John there, and he's got a guest, I believe, who's a passenger on his boat. So I noticed when I was filming from behind their boat that they almost dumped it twice. You can see they're heeling quite a bit as the boat leans over.
Yeah, but I have to say, we actually watched all the boats and all the people that were in the race this year. They're really, really good. I mean, yeah, okay, so you're talking about John, but he did so well. And all the other boats, I mean, they're healing, but they saved the day. They didn't capsize. They actually did really, really well. I found that all the boats, I don't know if they're really experienced sailors, but they were really, really good.
Well, John beat me when we had the wave last year, so this is a little bit of payback for John. So when I catch up to him in the next shot here, you can see me trying to decide which way I was going to pass him, either upwind or downwind. And I chose downwind just simply because I knew that if he pushed me upwind, there was not going to be any way I was going to be able to get out of the way, because he can go upwind quite a bit better than I can.
I watched them like so many times. He healed like, oh my goodness, I'm thinking, okay, you're going to capsize. And he didn't.
Yeah, he's healing now. You can see that in the shot.
And he did so
look
well. And a lot of the other boats, they did the same thing. They did so well.
Yeah.
I found that all these boats were really, really well sailed.
Yeah, well, I think as I pass him, I make a remark about taking the wash from his sails. I think my sails luffed a bit when I passed downwind of his boat.
We did have a guy that was on a foil board. Remember, come halfway into the sail, I believe, and we actually watched him. He did really, really well, actually. And we're wondering if his arms were gonna just give, because he was like hanging on to dear life. He did really well, but again, he came halfway into the sail.
Yeah,
he finished, right?
Yeah, I see those guys coming out of a location on the south shore, which is where the boat's pointed right now. So I think I actually pick him up on the camera a little bit further down, because all of a sudden he shows up, and
I think he's right there.
Yeah, you can actually see the little kite that he's holding on to. But so he actually started shadowing me, and he kept up with me on the downwind leg all the way down to the start-finish line again. So he was doing fairly well. I'm not sure which direction he favors, whether going upwind or downwind, but he sure wasn't foiling on some of the downwind segments, because I don't think there was enough wind. So put up the map again, just showing we're now heading past Champlain Point, which is that outcropping, and we're heading to the second mark. Unfortunately, there's not much footage left because my GoPro was almost out of juice, because I had it on standby for quite a while, and it doesn't last very long with the batteries. But it does give you a sense of what it was like. It wasn't quite white capping out there in terms of the wind strength, but it was fairly brisk. The gusts were, I think, hitting maybe 15 or
I thought
so.
it was a really good sailing day.
It was nice. It's kind of fun when it's really blowing because then, people are all over the place. People are capsizing. Hobie cats are flipping.
I mean, from the time the race started to the time the first boat finished, it was probably less than an hour, which is an indication of how strong the wind was.
Yeah, we've had races in the past where there's been very little wind, and then the race goes on forever because everyone's just like sitting there waiting for a
Yeah.
little puff of wind to come along. But no problem today, and you can see that there's quite a lot of fetch, which is wind caused by, waves caused by wind over the surface
Well,
of the water. So.
we had, I think, well, we went to see how one boat did that capsized, and there was another one. So we had quite a few boats that capsized.
Yeah, someone broke their centerboard as well. Unfortunately, I don't think they were able to finish. And then we had another boat, one of the lasers. I think you'll see in the finished shots later. They also capsized and had to stand on the keel to right the boat again because it completely turtled.
Yeah, so it was strong winds.
Yeah. So anyway, so this is who finished first. Unfortunately, I didn't catch up to him. So that's John and his Prindle 18, and I got to figure out a way to
Good
pass
job,
him.
John, again.
And
Please be on time next time.
And this is number 2, and first in the class for the, I guess, the monohulls. And there's our one and only foiler. As you can see, he's off the foils, but he's crossing the finish line.
He did really well.
Yeah, he was right beside me, and in fact, I think he crossed
there's my
first.
baby.
Yeah, that's me, and the new weapon. Next year, I'll be hopefully more prepared and know this boat inside out and ready to beat. At least I beat Jim. There he is. Yeah, and so a lot of catamarans dominated this race, and there we have Peter in his very similar boat to ours. That's a Hobie Getaway, and he's got some extra crew there. Yeah, they look like they're having a nice sail. And there's John and his RS Quest, so he
good job.
finished second in that category.
You got good crew, John.
Yeah, I hope she didn't get sick. And there's another it's a small Hobie. This one's not a Wave, it's a Bravo.
He did really well.
Yeah, I'm glad to see him out again this year. He did fairly well. And there are our friends in the laser. I believe they're the folks that actually ended up capsizing. But yeah, good to see them finish.
Good job finishing, and yes.
And good to see some new people.
Go, man.
Yeah, it's
good,
Nicole,
good
John's daughter, who's out.
Good for you.
Good for them.
Yeah.
So thanks for watching, folks, and hopefully leave some comments if you thought this was informative or at least exciting to see what actually happens out in the lake. Maybe I'll bring an extra battery if I'm able to change it on the water next year. But
And we'll see you next year.
Yeah, we'll see you next year in the race. Anyway, bye, folks.
Bye.